And joining me right now, we have Democratic Congressman Gabe Amo of Rhode Island, who serves on the Budget Committee. Congressman, welcome, sir. You voted against the Republican funding bill in the House. Why specifically are you and your Senate colleagues on that side of the aisle opposed to this bill? And how much of it is political versus practical based on what is actually in the CR?
Well, look, if you take a look at the spending bill that the Republicans put forward, they put forward a partisan piece of legislation that hurts seniors, that hurts families, that hurts veterans, who should be eligible for benefits of the PACT Act. And they are refusing to fund those key priorities so that they can continue to drive our economy into a ditch. Let's be very clear. Democrats are standing on the side of the American people, while House Democrats got out of town. They're not prepared to come back and vote on what is a reasonable, practical means of getting bipartisan support for a funding bill to last through this fiscal year.
Let's take a listen to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. He was on CNBC earlier today, already pushing the narrative of blaming Democrats. Here he is.
If Senator Schumer wants to reject it, hurt the American people, close down the government, and they're going to own any of the problems that go with it, including economic slowdown.
So Secretary Bessent, he also said he's not concerned about a little market volatility. I'm curious your response to that, Congressman.
Well, look, they should be ashamed. They are inflicting pain on the American people through their reckless tactics on the economy. This tariff tax agenda is only hurting people who have said to us over and over again that they want their politicians, their elected officials, to work on lowering the cost of living. So it is on them. You can't have it both ways. To claim this broad mandate for action, yet need Democratic votes, but not include us in a bipartisan process in a real way so that we can work for the American people. They are being reckless. They're driving our economy into a ditch, and they should be held accountable. But it is important now that they show up in Washington to vote on a 4-week CR so that we can get a bipartisan path forward.
They can do that. They may not want to check out their 401ks, though, at this point. But let's talk about what the Washington Post points out, which is that a shutdown could potentially give the White House and Elon Musk even more latitude in what agencies stay open or close down, because the president enjoys wide discretion on those decisions during a shutdown. And that is on top of all the other DOGE cuts. Is that worth the cost for Democrats?
Well, look, I think merely going forward with this partisan extreme spending bill is giving Donald Trump and Elon Musk a sign-off that they can continue to hack away at core functions of the government. So let's be clear, there is no good intention that the Republicans have put forward with their plan. The only path forward is for them to sit down at the negotiation table over 4 weeks to get a CR that keeps the government funded through the rest of the year and reduces the pain that they have continued to inflict on the American people.
Congressman, I want to talk about the massive job cuts at the Veterans Affairs Department. What are you hearing from your constituents, veterans specifically, about the downsides of these cuts? Are there going to be delays in accessing health care or any other benefits?
Yeah, there continue to be questions and concerns, and really questions about our values as a country. We know those who have sacrificed so much, that those veterans, their families deserve our services. And what is this Trump administration doing? What are House Republicans rubber stamping? Cuts to veterans. And that should be unconscionable. And it saddens me that that's where we are.
Congressman Gabe Amo of Rhode Island, thank you, sir, for your time.